Step 3 to fulfill the DOB site reopening requirements is to both create and post a safety plan at the job site. The safety plan should be posted at all points of egress from the construction site. Each business or entity, including essential businesses, must develop a written safety plan outlining how its workforce will prevent the spread of COVID-19. So that's basically what a safety plan is. The New York Forward safety plan, which you see right here in front of you, that's the template provided by New York State, outlines ways to prevent the spread of COVID-19. The safety plan does not need to be submitted to a state agency for approval. However, it must be posted at the job site, as failure to do so would grant you a DOB violation. Remember, the safety plan should be posted at all points of egress from the construction site. One can either create their own safety plan or use the template provided by New York State. To obtain the template provided by New York State, you can click on the link below, or you can click on the safety plan template link from the business affirmation page you completed in step 2 of the reopening requirements. And this is the business affirmation page. Here is the link to the New York Forward Business Safety Plan template. Once you click on the link, this New York Forward Safety Plan template document will pop up. You can save it, complete it, and then post it at the job site. You can purchase frames from our website to post the safety plan at the construction site. The safety plan is 6 pages long and is very easy to complete, especially since we have already reviewed the interim guidance for construction activities document. The safety plan contains more business-specific information on preventing the spread of COVID-19, and similarly to the interim guidance for construction activities, the safety plan is organized in 3 distinct categories: people, places, and processes. Let's start with the first category and go line by line. I have pre-filled some of the information on the form where it requires business-specific information so that it's easier for us to review the plan, and I filled it in with specific information for construction sites. For a real estate office or a management office, you would have to update the points a little bit so that they can match your policies in the office. Okay, so right here you're going to list your specific business information: name of business, industry, address, contact info, owner, manager, and HR info, and then you will start going through the categories one by one. The first category is people. Physical distancing is crucial for avoiding the spread of COVID-19, so you must ensure 6 feet of distance between personnel unless safety or core function of the work activity requires a shorter distance. Anytime your employees are less than 6 feet apart from one another, they must wear acceptable face coverings. Next, tightly confined spaces must be occupied by only one individual at a time unless all occupants are wearing face coverings. If occupied by more than one person, you have to keep occupancy under 50% of maximum capacity, and the DOB requires you to post a sign for maximum occupancy in the elevator, hoist, or any other tightly confined space. We do have the maximum occupancy sign on our website. It states maximum occupancy blank, and then you fill in the number of people. So let's say if the capacity of the elevator is 100 people, you're allowed to operate under 50%, so you will write 50. Okay, this is just an example. So you can buy a sign. Next, social distancing markers. You have to post social distancing markers using either tape or signs denoting 6 feet of spacing in commonly used and other applicable areas on the site. So you can either buy tape from Home Depot or you can buy signs from our website. We do have them as stickers, and you can post them either on the floor or on the walls so that people are aware to keep 6 foot of physical distance between one another. Next point is with reference to in-person gatherings, and it's not so relevant for construction sites. It's more for the real estate office and management companies. So you have to use as much as possible either video or teleconferencing. Okay, next point is regarding establishing designated work areas for pickups and deliveries and limiting contact to the extent possible. So we do have signs on our website stating pickups and deliveries. So please get these signs and post them at the job site to avoid receiving violations from the DOB. The next 3 paragraphs are more business specific, and I will review what I have written as an example. Please note that this is a sample, and you should update this information with whatever policies you have established at your own site. I'm using this as an example so that I can illustrate to you how you need to fill in the form. Okay, you have to list common situations that may not allow for 6 foot of a physical distance between individuals. What measures are you going to implement to ensure safety of your employees in such situations? So here you will list construction site tasks that not allowing for 6 foot physical distancing. So you will just list this type of jobs and write them down. And then you will write down measures. For example, employees will wear required face coverings and gloves at all times. Next, how will you manage engagement with customers and visitors on these requirements as applicable? So I wrote, every visitor and employee will wear a face covering and must log into the site visitor log. Non-essential visitors will not be allowed on the site, and there will be a designated area for pickups and deliveries. Again, you have to identify this area by posting signs for pickup and delivery. Next point, how will you manage industry-specific physical social distancing? For example, shift changes, lunch breaks as applicable. So, in-person gatherings will be limited. Stagger scheduled tasks and use signs to indicate occupied areas to avoid multiple crews and or teams working on one area. Shifts will be staggered with different departure or arrival times to accommodate the 6 foot physical distancing rules, and signage will be posted throughout the common areas limiting in-person presence. Next category, places. First part is with reference to protective equipment. You have to ensure that your employees comply with protective equipment requirements, and you have to agree that you will do the following. 1. Employers must provide employees with an acceptable face covering at no cost to the employee and have an adequate supply of coverings in case of replacement. So here you have to provide, again, specifically for your business, what quantity of face coverings and any other PPE will you need to type of PPE. So I wrote gloves, masks. Obviously, if you need other types of protective equipment at your job site, you're going to list them here. Quantity, list total quantity needed, and source, name of your supplier or wherever you got your personal protective equipment from. Next point is with reference to face coverings. Face coverings must be cleaned or replaced after use or when damaged or soiled, and may not be shared and should be properly stored or discarded. What policy will you implement to ensure that personal protective equipment is appropriately cleaned, stored, and or discarded? So, as an example, I have written, place trash bins throughout construction site and post signs with instructions on how to properly discard personal protective equipment. Post signs with instructions to practice proper hand hygiene as well as cleaning and disinfecting protocols. So you need to post these signs anyways because they're required by the DOB, and we will review the DOB signs requirement in another video. So let's go to the next point. Limit the sharing of objects and discourage touching of shared surfaces or when in contact with shared objects or frequently touched areas. Wear gloves or sanitize or wash hands before and after contact. Again, you have to provide something specific to your business with reference to common objects that are likely to be shared between employees. What measures will you implement to ensure the safety of your employees when using these objects? As a sample, I have written, list specific objects that are likely to be shared. For example, shared tools, machines, vehicles, anything else specific to your job site. And then you will write measures. All employees handling these objects must wear gloves when handling shared equipment and must first clean and then disinfect any frequently touched surface or shared tools. Next point, hygiene and cleaning. You have to ensure that employees comply with hygiene and cleaning requirements, and you agree that you will do the following: adhere to the CDC guidelines. And then we have a specific question: who will be responsible for maintaining a cleaning log? Where will the log be kept? So you have to name the person in charge of the cleaning log. So you just write name of person in charge of the cleaning log and you write their name. Then you will write the location of the cleaning log frame. Both of these signs you can buy from our website. Location of cleaning log frame, you will write down, for example, at entrance of site or wherever you're going to post it. Next, you have to provide and maintain hand hygiene stations for your workers, including hand washing with soap, water, and paper towels, or an alcohol-based hand sanitizer containing at least 60% alcohol for areas where hand washing is not feasible. So they're asking here, where on the work location will you provide employees with access to the appropriate hand hygiene and/or sanitizing products, and how will you promote good hand hygiene? So here you're going to list locations of hand washing stations and at construction site. Remember, this is a requirement by the DOB, so you have to do it anyways. And you have to post hand washing station signs, also required by the DOB to avoid violations, as well as signage instructing employees how to properly practice hand hygiene and adhere to sites cleaning and disinfecting protocols. So both of these are signs required by the DOB, and both of them can be purchased from our website. The next point is conduct regular cleaning and disinfection at least after every shift, daily or more frequently as needed. The specific question is, what policies will you implement to ensure regular cleaning and disinfection of your worksite and any shared objects or materials using products identified as effective against COVID-19? So here you can write, appointed COVID-19 site coordinator will do site walkthroughs throughout the day. 2. 1. Inspect the site's cleaning logs and monitor site cleaning and disinfecting. And 2. Ensure employees maintain 6 feet of physical distance, wear PPE, and follow shared object protocol. Next point, communication. To ensure the business and its employees comply with communication requirements, you agree that you will do the following. 1. Post signage throughout the site to remind personnel to adhere to proper hand hygiene, social distancing rules, appropriate use of PPE, and cleaning and disinfecting protocols. You can buy these signs from our website. Establish a communications plan for employees, visitors, and customers with a consistent means to provide updated information. Maintain a continuous log of every person, including workers and visitors, who might have had contact with other individuals at the work site or area. Maintaining a continuous log of every person visiting the site is very important, because if somebody gets sick, you need to notify every single person that individual has been in contact with, as they need to get tested for COVID-19. So you have to maintain a continuous log of every person visiting the site. And the specific question is, which employees will be in charge of maintaining a log of each person that enters the site, and where will the log be kept? So here you're going to write name of site's COVID-19 coordinator, and you will write their name, and then you will write location of site visitors log, and you will write the location where you will install the site visitors log. You can buy both of these signs from our website. The next point is, if a worker tests positive for COVID-19, employer must immediately notify state and local health departments and cooperate with contact tracing efforts. So, if a worker tests positive for COVID-19, which employees will be responsible for notifying state and local health departments? You can write down name of site's COVID-19 coordinator, and then you write down their name. The next category is process. So we start with screening. You have to ensure that the business and its employees comply with protective equipment requirements. You agree that you will do the following. 1. Implement mandatory health screening assessment. And then we're going to be asked, what types of daily health and screening practices will you implement? Will the screening be done before employees get to work or on-site? And who will be responsible for performing them, and how will those individuals be trained? So here you have to write specific rules following the CDC guidelines. And please, 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 this is very important. Remember that keeping records of employee health data, such as temperature data, is prohibited by law. You cannot keep anybody's temperature data on file. Please remember. If screening on site, how much PPE will be required for the responsible parties carrying out the screening practices? How will you supply the PPE? So here you will write down type of PPE required, listed, quantity, listed, source, listed. So source means, how are you going to acquire this PPE? So whoever your supplier is, or wherever you bought your PPE from, you would list that information right here. Next categories with reference to contact tracing and disinfection of contaminated areas. You agree that you will do the following. 1. Have a plan for cleaning, disinfection, and contact tracing in the event of a positive case. And the specific question is, in the case of an employee testing positive for COVID-19, how will you clean the applicable contaminated areas? What products identified as effective against COVID-19 will you need, and how will you acquire them? Again, you're going to list any specific cleaning rules for your job site. I have written as a sample, in accordance with CDC guidelines and Section 2B of the Interim Guidance for Construction Activities during COVID-19 Public Health Emergency. Products to be used, you will write that down. And source of products to be used, same thing, you will write down the name of your supplier or wherever you got the PPE from. Next, in the case of an employee testing positive for COVID-19, how will you trace close contacts in the workplace? How will you inform close contacts that they may have been exposed to COVID-19? I have written, review shift staggering schedule and site visitor log to figure out close proximity with other workers, and use info from site visitors log to contact people who might have had contact with an infected individual. Obviously, you can revise any of that. And with that, we have completed the form. The last part is other. So here you can use this space to provide additional details about your business's safety plan, including anything to address specific industry guidance. Here you will list any other necessary and relevant information, and you can type it in here. Last point, to ensure that you stay up to date on the guidance that is being issued by the state, you will, this is a requirement, check mark here. Consult New York Forward website and applicable executive orders on a periodic basis or whenever notified of the availability of new guidance. That's it. So once you fill in the form as we just did, you can obviously, as I said earlier, this is just a sample. You can modify this information in whatever way needed to fit your business policies and industry. Once you fill in this information, you have to print this plan and post it at the entrance of the construction site. And if you're a real estate management company or a real estate service office, you have to post this business safety plan at the entrance of your office. It's a requirement by law. To obtain any of the signs required to fulfill the DOB site reopening requirements, as well as any other HPD signs and all of the signs that we discussed throughout these videos, you can go on our website, hpdsigns.com. That's our website, and you can find all of the signs. Here is the signage for proper use of the PPE, the hand hygiene station sign. We have various signs for maximum occupancy, and here is the frame for the safety plan, the business information page, the site safety monitor, the visitors log, and here we have a maximum occupancy sign in a frame instead of a sign itself. The advantage of using a frame is that once we have recovered from COVID-19, you can remove the note stating elevator maximum occupancy, this note, from the frame and replace it with any other notice, and in that way you're going to recycle the frame and use it for something else useful instead of wasting money on other signs. I hope you found the information useful, and thank you so much for your support.